Apoc and Namor, two of the biggest mad lads when it comes to the Mutant mission in Cavalier difficulty. Hello everybody, welcome to the video. This video is focused on these two amazing champions for interaction with the Mutant node. Granted, they're not just the only ones. I just feel because these particular champions have specific types of interactions, play into the kind of the node, have persistency, have prowess, or indeed slap a load of damage and as well repel things with their abilities, that there's something of the mad lads and completely putting in work when it comes to the monthly nodes. These monthly nodes, which actually are pretty good, is number one, healing factor. Each hit in the special attack of an attacking mutant champion has a 30% chance to grant them a passive regeneration, healing 2% of base health over 10 seconds. This chance is increased 70% if the attacker has a prowess buff, or passive, which Apocolypse does have. And as well, we've got Relentless Mutation. Mutant attackers gain an indefinite passive fury, increasing attack rating by 70% every time they gain a regeneration buff or passive. Now, I'll probably do a follow-up video talking about Wolverine, Sabretooth, various other champions that interact with that, but I just feel because these two champions have these interactions, they can mean not just that they can take on the bosses, but there's also other elements to this. Also, Apocolypse does have his horseman synergy, which does kind of like make other champions incredibly powerful. In previous months, I've taken Archangel with the horseman active to take on someone like Mr. Sinister, so it worked really well to have that Archangel in, but at times it's nice to rotate around different champions, and especially this month, and also times where you find bosses like Mephisto that do things of like unavoidable damage if you interact, so that aura of incineration, I think it is. Also, you've got in this one Electro. Now, most commonly, if you've got a 200 signature Namor, which is all playing into the narrative of the ability, which is hydrokinetic armor. Namor takes 100% reduced damage from all sources while attacking his opponent. When Namor ends an attack, any damage prevented by hydrokinetic armor is captured and sent back to the opponent as energy damage. So that's only applicable if you've got a champion at 200 signature, and I would recommend to everybody to, if you've got one, awaken it and focus on investing in signature stones. It's great for things like Electro, Mephisto, I'm just trying to think of some other examples, like Korg. Any times that you kind of, and Terrax, there's more that kind of come to mind. There's probably gonna have like a whole list. And maybe even do that as a video kind of like down the line, like great champions that Namor counters or something like that. But you know, the fact is, it's great to have this champion and Apocolypse in. You got the extent of the interaction with immunities. You've also got things that play into the node, and you slap a load of damage. And you definitely could say that there are indeed a lot more mad lads of the mutant class that could take on various different content. But this is all about two champions, so let's kind of roll some footage, shall we? Right, let's go with some footage, and we begin with Daredevil. And this particular fight has the node where after 15 seconds of throwing a special attack, you have to wait in order to throw another one, otherwise you get punished for it. So Sp1 Rotation first off. Do bear in mind you can bring cable in order to get yourself quicker to the genetic code required. And the great thing about this is it's just a very kind of filler fight, especially from the point of gaining your genetic code. For genetic code means that you can be able to get that increased prowess and as well do the kind of fuller extent of damage. Suicide Mastery versions of Apocolypse would be very good, especially because you'll have the bleed immunity built up very quickly from Double Edge. It would just be a case of like, well, the problem is recoil. Recoil is a problem with Suicide Masteries, but you do get the extent of damage improvement. Going up against a mutant champion now has got me to that full genetic code I want to see, which again is cool. It means as soon as I fire off an SP1, and the options are throwing the SP2 option, but SP1 option is a good starter, putting those debuffs on the enemy. The good thing about the full genetic code is it means that I can put double the amount of debuffs. If you've got between 1 and 3 of prowess, genetic code, whatever you want to call it, of like the persistent charges, it does mean that you're not able to put on the debuffs. Doing a parry heavy attack or trying to time in a heavy attack does mean that you're able to refresh the debuffs on, which is why it's there. It's like I just need to do like 2 SP1s and the job's done. Just look at that. It's so good. 45 hits and down. This is a rank 2, by the way, rank 2 6-star champion, and it's just nice. It slaps amazing amounts of damage and plays nicely into the node. Even best if there was a particular fight this month where it's Mephisto, so I'm not going to take this champion against Mephisto. More commonly than not, I'm going to be using Human Torch. Other options would be Quake, other option Void. I think I had Cap as my secondary champion to use against this, or I could use Iceman, but there's not really much point because the cold-based damage from Cold Snap and Frostbite isn't going to do jack on Mephisto, so it just doesn't feel like there's any worth. Threw in an SP2 first off with this Commander Khan fight. I don't think it was really worth it. I think it was a case of rotating around SP1 because it's quicker and probably will give me that passive fury, even though that the champion is poison immune. It's just a case of quickly getting those passive furies, which are really nice to see. But still, there's a lot of debuffs on, and it should be a case as soon as I do another SP1, which I'm like, should I just kind of rush this a little bit, or kind of be dangerous? The champion's at SP3. Nah, let's just go balls to the wall and kind of get the champion out of there. Now moving on to a Venom Pool fight. Now this was on, I think, a run where I think I made a mistake on a run against Cosmic Ghost Rider, mistimed against a special attack. But I was still rocking a 10% Apocolypse. Now if I had a champion awaken, I could regen right towards the end and kind of use, I think it's Lazarus, or I can't remember what the name of the special ability is, but at least I could have that sleep and then kind of gain back health. But still, this is going to slap amazing damage. Should have done the Sp1 rotation, possibly, get passive furies up. Loads of passive furies are already up, that's nice. Power Flood comes in. Nothing really with these two champion combinations will kind of deal with things with power control. Maybe a mutant power control would be helpful, like Psylocke, and that would be quite cool, but maybe another champion that power controls. You don't have to use mutants in this, it's just, that's nice damage, that's nice damage. We've got a Heimdall fight, and then we're going to move on to the Namor fights and kind of see where the champion's value is. And as I said, it's great to have that damage reflection, which does mean that it's a value for players to go for. But that's Namor, this is Apocolypse. This is the final fight that I'm using him against, and it is good. It's not a final fight, but it's not a boss fight, but I'll talk about that in a minute. The champion just slaps damage. Just look at that. Sp1 rotations interact, as I said, with the passive fury. That was a heavy attack doing 12k. Again, incredibly nice. Do I want to rank 3 this 6 star? Of course. But I do have to consider I've got a Mutant Awakening gem and, crystals to open, so I need to so I get. Oh, that was a nasty SP1, but it's beautiful, beautiful to have Apocolypse. We're going to move on now to this damage reflection thing. So I was talking about the idea of damage reflection. This particular fight, first off, is the boss fight. I decided to kill off one of my champions because I wanted to showcase for this video and didn't want to kind of repeat it because I just thought, right, okay, I have to kind of spend a bit of time to repeat this fight. So, just showcasing, if I'm up close and personal with Aura of Incineration up, and then I'm kind of I'm getting close. The damage reflection side of things is there. You can see those 1Ks ticking. It's not the bleed. The bleeds are kind of ticking about, I think, 200 a pop. But it's as soon as I get up close and finish the combo, it's a case the champion does the damage. And I have to rotate around SP1s as quickly as possible because of special delivery. But it's just really nice. Just look at that. It's I can get up close and personal and not feel worried at all about this. Bit of damage in a block, but that's down to me for making that mistake. But still, it's an option. It's a really cool option, especially if the bosses are Terrax, Electro, Mephisto, and Korg. You've got this as an option for various things. And last month's Odin Gauntlets, this champion against Korg was just straight fire. Right, so we've got SP1 rotations here from Electro that I'm kind of keeping away from. But you can see normally if you hit Electro, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. This isn't the case with this champion. Could I have been throwing special attacks to give myself a kind of the boost for passive fury? Yes, absolutely. This is where I make a mistake in this particular fight interaction. But it's all about I just don't have to worry. And having a champion like this in your roster where you don't have to worry about stuff because you're up close, you're hitting in, you're not worrying about that unavoidable damage. Just means I am so happy that Command allow the champion like this to be put in. It's the same way that the locked on or kind of defensive ability, the ability accuracy reduction or the kind of interaction with the defensive ability accuracy that Falcon has means that you're able to interact with champions that are frustrating, like Electro, and just kind of slap in some nice damage. I'm up to the SP3. would have been better, as I said, to rotate around SP1s because of the node that the champion has, which is that after, I think it's 20 or 30 seconds, you're power drained. Yes, that's on me. That's on me on that one. But it's like, it doesn't matter because I don't drop a revive here. I don't make a mistake. 52k, boom, and the job is done. Beautiful amounts of damage and as well just amazing interactions. Now, I don't know whether or not to continue on this series. I call it the Mad Lads of Cavalier. I don't know, thoughts in the comment section. Should I continue this in the series where I pick maybe 2 champions that kind of can do not just like the kind of clearing of the past, but also have like all-round interaction, because these champions are great. Archangel is kind of like a no-brainer, but there's also other options. Having that kinetic armor of or reflective kinetic armor, whatever it is, from Namor, and as well the immunities and value and the prowess that that Apocalypse has. You know, I just feel these two, even though like one is kind of used for synergies, I like using Apocalypse on the front end of damage and usage. So, you know, thoughts in the comment section about this, but I had a great time with these two. Thanks again for watching this video. Check out some other content recently posted up there, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.